Hi, I'm Lance Henriksen. You're watching Brian Lomax's Movie Talk.
Hello and welcome to another Christmas movie review as part of my 31 days of December. Today I am reviewing Love Actually. Now this is a film written and directed by Richard Curtis, who is famous obviously for bringing Blackadder to the screen and Four Weddings and a Funeral. But yeah, this is his Christmas film. It's a film that's escaped me for many years. For some reason I've seen the last 10 minutes of this about 3 times, but never actually seen the film from start to finish. This is the first time. Now, I know a lot of people hold this film in high regard, but I gotta say, I was very disappointed. I don't think this is a good film at all. I think it has promising moments in it, and I think there are certain parts of it that kind of get me engaged, but the overall thing is just, it's a bit flat. For a start, there's just too much going on, too many storylines that don't really amount to much, they don't really say much. It's one of those stories a bit like what Gary Marshall ended up doing later in his career with films like New Year's Eve, where he'd just literally get a ton of actors in for essentially glorified cameos, and just have so many different storylines going on that, again, they don't really amount to much. The problem with this film is it's called Love Actually, but all I see on screen throughout is Lust Actually, which would have been a more apt title. I see no reason half the time for why people would be in love, as they say. The very definition of love isn't really one I prescribe to as presented in this film, because we have loads of different stories going on, and essentially people just clamp eyes on each other, and within 2 minutes they're in love. We don't really get to see any character building for many of them. We have this one storyline where this Brit guy can't seem to get laid, as he puts it, and decides to go to America because he thinks that, they'll love him there. And surely enough, he's in America for 2 minutes in a bar and hooks up with 3 or 4 girls at the same time. I'm sorry, that's not love, that's lust, actually. And then we've got this other storyline with the Prime Minister, who played here by Hugh Grant, who I liked in this film. I actually think he's very charming in this film, as was Martine McCutcheon. But again, he sees her for literally 10 seconds, and all of a sudden, that's it. He's in love. That ain't love. You know nothing about this woman. How can you possibly be in love? That's lust. Again, Lust Actually. Now, the only storyline in this that kind of grabs me is the one between Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson, and that's mostly because of their performances. They are great actors. Emma Thompson in particular gives a performance in this film that, quite frankly, this film just doesn't deserve. She's fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and she always is. She's one of the biggest unsung actors out there, I think. She's incredible. Whenever I don't think about her often, but when I see her in a film, I'm always reminded of just how brilliant she is. But their storyline isn't really, it's not brought to a satisfying conclusion, I don't think. Now, it's a storyline about cheating. So again, there's no real love involved in that storyline. It's the most engrossing one in the film, but the love seems to have gone in that relationship, certainly from one half of the couple. So there's a few other storylines. Another one with this guy who, basically, Keira Knightley gets married to Chiwetel Ejiofor, of all people. Obviously future Oscar winner Chiwetel Ejiofor, one of my favourite actors, completely wasted in this film because he just gets to do absolutely nothing. She plays this bride who kind of asks Ejiofor's best friend, who is his best man, if she can have some of the wedding footage. Now, they think this guy is gay, but when she sees this wedding footage that he's shot, it's all of her. And it's like, oh, right, you're in love with her. And they kind of make a little bit of a storyline out of it, how he actually did the noble thing by not telling her, by not ruining the relationship between her and his best friend. But then they trash all that completely. Spoiler alert, by the way. I'm sorry about this. If you've not seen the film, this is just getting completely spoiled. But they trash it by having him show up at the end with these cards in which he essentially confesses his love for her. And it's like, well, actually, now you're just a douchebag because you've waited until these people get married and then you tell her that you love her. And there's no nobility in that. And it's just, man, do I need to go on? Again, the Colin Firth storyline, he has this, he falls in love with this woman who he doesn't understand. You know, they have different languages. They don't understand each other's language. But just by being around each other, they fall in love with each other. Again, it's a bit wishy-washy. It's a bit forced. It's a bit unbelievable. And when you don't truly know something about another person, how can that truly be called love? Yeah, I don't see love actually in this film. As I say, I just see lust going on. And there's a lot of innuendos and out just sex jokes and crude humour, which I really didn't like throughout, especially for a Christmas film. I don't want to see that stuff in a Christmas film. So yeah, okay, there you go. Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson, watch this film for them. Everything else, not so much. I give this a 2-star rating, a 2 out of 5. If you've seen this film, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it, and until tomorrow, thanks for watching.